Chapter 4 is the flow of food. Hazards in the flow of food and the path that food takes through your operation. To keep food safe throughout the flow of food, prevent cross-contamination, and prevent time and temperature abuse. Use separate equipment. Use separate equipment for raw and ready-to-eat food. Clean and sanitize all work surfaces, equipment, and utensils before and after each task. Prep raw ready-to-eat foods at different times. If using the same prep table, prep raw meat, fish, and poultry at a different time than ready-to-eat food. And when possible, prep ready-to-eat food before raw food. I tell everyone with this particular method, what you should just do is prep food in order of cooking temperature. Ready-to-eat food that does not have to be cooked should be done first, and then work your way up to 165. Buy prepared food. Buying food items that don't require much prepping or handling are available, but they are not cost effective. Time and temperature control. Food held at the range of 41 degrees Fahrenheit to 135 Fahrenheit has been time and temperature abused. This is what's called the temperature danger zone, and its acronym is TDZ. Okay, TDZ, temperature danger zone. Pathogens grow much faster between 70 degrees and 125. And this was why later on you'll see why I call 70 the magic number 70. Food is being temperature abused whenever it is handled in the following ways. Cooked at the wrong internal temperature, held at the wrong temperature, cooked or reheated incorrectly. Avoid time and temperature abuse. By monitoring time and temperature, make sure the correct kind of thermometers are available. Regularly record temperatures and times they are taken. Minimize the time that food spends in the temperature danger zone. And take corrective actions if time temperature standards are not met. And just a little tidbit, CA is the acronym for corrective action. And we'll need that later for HACCP. Bimetallic stem thermometers. These measure temperature through a metal stem system. Has a sensing area from the tip to the dimple, which is approximately 2 inches. The entire sensing area must be inserted into the food, and it has a calibration nut to keep the thermometer accurate. Measure a temperature through a metal probe. Display temperatures digitally. Okay. Have a sensing area tip on the end of their probe. Come with interchangeable probes such as immersion, surface, penetration, and air, which are right here. These are for sauces and soups, gravies, anything that you have a large pot of. Mind you that when it's a pot of something that's on a burner, all the heat is at the bottom, so you need to stir before you take the temperature. If you're temping something with one of these probes, say on a salad bar, or a hot bar, like a buffet bar, the heat is externally around the outside and sometimes under as well. So again, you have to stir before you take a temperature. A surface probe is for things like flat grills. Penetration probe, because as compared to, well, the air probe really isn't a good example, but it is a thicker, sturdier version with a heavier tip on the end versus a thermistor or regular probe. Okay, none of these are a regular probe, but it looks like this, and it's thinner in diameter. It also takes a temp much quicker. An infrared laser thermometer is what everybody's familiar with now. It's used to measure the surface temperature of food and equipment, hold as close to the food or equipment as possible, remove anything between the thermometer and the food package or equipment, and follow manufacturer's guidelines. Maximum registering thermometer. This indicates the highest temperature reached during use, used where temperature readings cannot be continuously observed. The time temperature indicator, a TTI, monitors both time and temperature, are attached to packages by the supplier, and the color change appears on the device when time temperature abuse has occurred. When using thermometers, wash, rinse, sanitize, and air dry thermometers before and after using them. Calibrate these at times when they have been bumped or dropped, exposed to extreme temperature changes, before deliveries arrive, and at the beginning of each shift. Make sure they are accurate, plus or minus 2 degrees Fahrenheit. If used to check air temperature, thermometers must be accurate to plus or minus 3 degrees Fahrenheit. Only use glass thermometers if they are enclosed in a shatterproof casing. Insert the thermometer stem or probe into the thickest part of the food. Take more than one reading in different spots. Wait for the thermometer reading to steady. Adjusting a thermometer to get a correct reading. The most used and most logical is the ice point method, although you are allowed to use the boiling point method if that's what you choose to use. Now, the boiling point method has no pictures, and I think it's because they really don't feel that anybody uses it. But you bring the tap water to a boil in a deep pan, put the thermometer stem or probe into the water, adjust the thermometer so that it reads 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So please remember that, 212. The ice point method, you fill a container with ice and add tap water, submerge the sensing area, and wait 30 seconds. Adjust the thermometer so it reads 32 degrees. The only disagreement here I have with this particular picture is that there's too much water in the cup and it's not crushed ice. Okay? They're not. It's much, much cooler. The least amount of water in the cup that you can possibly use with your crushed ice. You want it to be like a wet snow cone. That's the best description I can come up with.